It's your boy,
Uh,
Miles.
Miles and Owen here, back again. This is the second episode of our podcast. We're going to be talking about some of the same topics. We're going to sort of expand more because last time we didn't quite like the way it turned out. It was a little like formulaic. This time we're going to, be
Yeah.
a little more breezy about it.
And so I think, what did we talk about last time? Voter intimidation, um,
Voting
like
restrictions.
what you could do, the
We
restrictions,
talked about what you can do if you want to go against voting restrictions,
yeah,
if you want to go for voting
and what you, yeah,
restrictions, if you
yeah.
want to
And
support
remember,
poll watching,
we are
if
an
you don't want to
unbiased
support poll watching. Yeah,
podcast.
we're completely unbiased. We're going to tell you uh, all the sides of the stories, the advantages, disadvantages of each. So uh, I think we should just get into it. First of all, some stuff we noticed while researching voter intimidation is a lot of the news articles said that the people who were poll watching were Nazis, but we
Yeah,
couldn't find a single photo of people with
yeah.
Nazi
We only
tattoos.
found one picture, and they were all covered up, and it was like you couldn't even really see the guns too much. And it was only one picture. They
Yeah,
didn't
it was
have
only
any
one
like
photo.
tattoos.
I couldn't see them near polling stations, which doesn't necessarily mean it didn't happen, but perhaps there's some embellishment going on.
And then yeah, and then when you search up the Arizona, all you see is like a sign of voter
Yeah,
that says voter.
the images
Like
are just not on point with
yeah,
this one. So,
yeah.
so
And you
if you're
would think if
watching
it's
this,
such a big, and you would think if it's such a big topic, there would be so many like a lot of pictures and proof of it. So
yeah. So if you're an audio listener, you might not know, we post on YouTube, and we've got little visuals on YouTube. And so we had a hard time finding photos to put as visual aids. So
yeah,
that might be worth mentioning. Okay, so
yeah,
yeah, that's I found that interesting. That maybe people who people who attack poll watching might sort of embellish it. And then
yeah.
we talked about
And remember, this doesn't mean it's
this
a
doesn't mean
possibility.
it's good.
It
It
just means it's a
just means that
possibility.
it's a possibility that
Yeah,
people are sort of blowing it out of proportion. Generally, again, though, we talked about voting restrictions, all that stuff. So if you guys don't know, 1790, only rich landowners could vote, and then there was, slowly the United States, as they grew as a
yeah,
country, and we got more freedoms, more people could vote, and then there was the Voting Rights Act, which
yeah.
happened, the Voting Rights Act, and that meant that when a state wanted to change a law related to voting, it had to be
It's
approved by the federal government first. And
then in
when
what
when did
2013?
2013? Okay.
I don't know, something. But like recently, there's a case Shelby County versus what is it again?
Shelby v. Holder.
It's yeah, Shelby versus Holder, and they basically said the states can now change their own
Yes.
laws,
The
and then
state
in result of that case, states have already made voting a lot more difficult. An example is Wisconsin, right? They added like a lot more voting IDs, and you needed to have proof of being a resident at that state. So
Yeah.
um, could be
So
heading in the wrong direction.
could be in the wrong way, but also, you have to assume you have to also voting restrictions. They sort of can be good. You don't want
Yeah,
people who are
yeah,
eligible not to vote, but you don't want criminals or
yeah.
bad actors to be
You don't
able to
want
vote.
like 2-year-olds voting.
Yeah, you don't want some 16-year-old who doesn't
Yeah,
have an ID or anything. You can have someone
yeah,
else vouch.
yeah. And I feel like still a lot of voting rights. They're still pretty much common sense. Like all races, whatever, vote.
Yeah,
I mean,
voting rights inherently is kind of a no-brainer. Honestly, everyone should be able to vote.
yeah,
Everyone
yeah,
who's over 18 and everyone race shouldn't matter when voting.
yeah. But you
North
can't
or
let like Putin vote. You can't let
Central
Russia people vote.
Russia.
So, Okay. So we've given you all this information, but why does this matter, and how does this hurt democracy?
Yeah.
Is something
How
that's
do voting
important.
restrictions affect you? How does it affect democracies? Well, voting
Yeah.
restrictions can lead to an authoritarian government. They only
Mhm.
if the government has all power, they only want you. They could say they're democratic, and then but they only really let you vote for one candidate. We see this happening in Russia right now. We see this
Yeah.
happening in countries that claim to be democratic, but really they've had the same president for over 10 years.
Yeah, and remember one of the biggest principles of democracy is free and fair elections, right? And if you have all these voting restrictions, then I mean it's not a democracy if it's not free, right,
Yeah. If you
and
breach the
fair.
democratic principle, it's not really a democracy anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Yeah. So that's voting restrictions, I'd say. Um, we could talk a little more about poll watching because
yeah.
there's some interesting stuff to be had with that. I actually, I did a little bit of research and figured out that, there's definitely, so most of the evidence is claiming, like, people claiming to do these things on Twitter. So I saw a Twitter post that was like, set up snipers to prevent people from, like,
Yeah,
trained ex-military marksmen to prevent people from voting, and I
yeah,
couldn't tell if it was a joke or not. But there's definitely some
yeah,
extremist people watching. Just not as much like photo evidence as I would have liked.
yeah. Like photographic evidence. Um, yeah. Um,
Well, I mean, what do you think, Maurice? What do you think? Like, are you personally for voting restrictions? Like, how much voting restrictions do you think we should have?
I think I think there should I think okay, yeah, pretty much all voting restrictions are bad, but I feel like there still needs to be like the obvious ones, right? That we've already talked about.
Yeah, I don't like the
Um,
idea of that you can vouch for someone who doesn't have an ID.
yeah, yeah. Um, but I think I think that's one of the things we have to do is stand up for how many voting restrictions you
Yeah,
think
stand up.
should be there.
Yeah, you can do it. Let's go out there. Go out. You know, if you think, hey, what the heck? These states are making it much harder for people to vote. You can go out there
Mhm.
and go to the you can protest. You can post on social media. Guys, like, there's so much stuff you could be doing. It's civic participation.
And you know what? And
If you think a topic,
like you know what makes you mad too is like yeah, you know what
yeah,
makes me mad is like um so one of the so in the Shelby County thing,
yeah.
wait, yeah, in the Shelby County, right? Their excuse was that it's no longer relevant, but now because the thing has passed, it's becoming more and more relevant, right?
Exactly, yeah. But like I'm saying, we always encourage our viewers to, if you have a opinion on a topic and you want something to change, go out and make a change. Like, our democracy is ran on civic participation and the people participating civically.
Hmm.
So, take action. Don't sit there, complaining. Just go take action.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, Miles,
Um,
is there anything else you want to talk about, or you want to call the episode?
um, I think we're. I mean, okay. So, and by the way, look forward to any of you guys Avengers. It's gonna
Yeah.
be coming out soon.
We're gonna be posting. Yeah, we're gonna be posting about Marvel comics. We're gonna make a video, sort of like talking about how, some people said the MCU has been declining, stuff like that. So
Mhm.
we're gonna handle that. That's gonna be a sort of
Yeah,
bonus
and we also
episode.
don't we want to keep this channel entertaining and a bit more fun. Not
Yeah,
just
we don't want
politics.
this to
Right.
become a boring political drone like you see in most other spheres of entertainment, like
Yeah.
you're like Fox News, it's like, or like it's like all the news networks. I just feel like we don't want to become news networks. We want to be entertaining, and so we want as much feedback as we can get. We want you to tell us, how can we become more entertaining? What can we change? And if you think that we're saying something that's incorrect, put it down in the comments. We want to
Yeah.
hear. We want to hear about your thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay,
And maybe
well,
we can get it right next time. So
yeah. Well, look forward to the next episode. Leave feedback down below. Peace. See you next one. Bye.
Bye bye. Okay?
Check it out. Shoot my
I like this.
Now to all the ladies in the place with style and grace, allow me to lace these lyrical